This week on the Unpopular Opinion Show. I'm not the person that'll say we need, all liberal voices, or at this point, enough is enough.
Why don't we want Kanye in office again now? Funny looking house. What are you pointing to?
Her face. Why would you go to Mike Tyson's house to sleep with his wife? Honestly, that sounds like some I would do.
For all y'all. All right, enough is enough.
Right.
This ain't what you want to do. So.
I think you need to say clearly what happened.
Who gives a fuck? I don't care if you personally hit Candice Owens and her stanky
cray-cray.
No good thing starts with, I was thinking about my ex.
He ain't learned his lesson. That's a brother ain't gonna learn shit.
I know this is gonna be unpopular and I don't care. Let's keep this shit funky.
Welcome to the Unpopular Opinion Show. I'm T Storm alongside my partner, Mr. Mike Swift. What up, brother?
What's happening?
Welcome to another edition, man. Again, moving in dog years.
Yeah. Dude, it was like Tuesday just wouldn't end. It was at about around like 1 o'clock on Tuesday. It felt like it was 8 o'clock at night to me. And I was just like, oh my God, will this day end? But yeah, we survived another week, man.
Rest in peace to the notorious RBG.
Yeah.
That happened. She was trying to hang in there, man. She's from Brooklyn. Straight fighter, man. She was that was I don't want to say you expected, because she was up there in age and she had was fighting cancer. And she succumbed to is it pancreatic cancer?
Yep. Metastasized pancreatic cancer.
So rest in peace.
So, I'm not going to assume for a second that everybody know who she is, right? And I'm also not going to pretend that I'm super versed with her history. But just over her career, she has been such an advocate for marginalized people. And before she got to the Supreme Court, right? But then to get there and to have that voice on the Supreme Court was huge. It was huge. So, she shows up in popular culture as a notorious RGB and Darth Vader. And, have you seen those T-shirts and the Darth Vader?
No, I see that one.
Oh, it's great.
the one I've seen, the image I've seen is with her with the crown like Biggie.
Yeah. That was dope. Which that crown just sold for almost $600,000.
Yeah.
At auction for almost $600,000, bro.
Yeah, that's 3 million percent upgrade from what the photographer paid for it, because he only paid like $6 for it or something like that for the shoot.
Yep, $6.
Yeah.
Trying to find one that's in fairly decent taste. I don't want to be that person.
I'm interested. I was interested to see it before. But there's a movie about her. RBG.
Yeah. RGB.
RBG. I'm curious to see. I'm curious to see it. Find out a little, because again, like you, I don't know a whole lot about her. I know she was one of the good guys.
She was absolutely an advocate for women's rights. Like I said, marginalized people. Having that voice there is great. And I think, we know her, like I started to say, we know her from pop culture references and women, in general, kind of looking up to her. But I don't think people really truly realize how losing that voice in the judiciary, how that's going to affect us downstream long term, right? Because now Trump gets to make another appointment,
Well, we'll see. I'm sure that's going to be fought, because if you remember, 4 years ago, while Obama was still in office, and a seat came available, McTurtle was like, no, the people should be able to, have a voice in the next judge. So we're not going to have a hearing on it until after the election. And it was like 9 months out.
Look, I hope that's the case this time.
Well, and of course not. He's a hypocrite. He's going to they're trying to rush this through real quick. And I think he's already said that on Twitter. But I'm sure that there's going to be some fight about that. Because if this is what your reasoning was 9 months out before election, then 45 days before election, you definitely can't have you shouldn't. So keep that same energy.
I've been trying to find this image, but I'm trying to find one that, because she died yesterday and it's already poor taste memes
Friday.
out there.
We'll say Friday, or for those who may have heard this later on in the week or whatever. But she passed Friday, September 18th.
Right.
Yeah.
Can I share? Let's see. Share screen. Nope. You got to enable my share. You always forget me, bro.
All right. How about now?
Let me do that. Yep. There you go.
Now that's funny. That's funny. Yeah.
That's a good likeness.
Darth Bader Ginsburg. But why Darth Bader, though?
Just because it fits, it's Darth Vader.
Yeah. But yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I, like you were saying, dude, I hope it gets pushed to after the election. That gives you a fighting chance to get some balance there. And look, and I'm not the person that'll say we need, all liberal voices or all conservative voices. I think it works best when you have a nice mix of both, so you can give viewpoints from both sides and hopefully through the judiciary process, come up with something that's fair.
Agreed.
So yeah, that's a big loss. I found out about all of these deaths while I'm at the bar. So that either means people die a lot while I'm at the bar, or I'm at the bar a lot. So
either way, we're going to the bar. Damn it, it's your fault.
But I was at the bar, and one of the feminist regulars was there, and she was really bummed. She doesn't talk to me anymore because we got into it once and I was challenging her ideas and she didn't like that. So she doesn't really talk to me anymore, but I still like her. And I felt bad for her that she was super bummed over all of this.
Yeah, no, it's if Trump gets to put, who he wants in there, that's going to shape this country a different kind of way.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will.
Yeah. Oh boy. On to some light news. Did you see our dear sick friend Yeezy take a leak on his Grammy?
Yeah, I saw that. At this point, enough is enough. Okay, right? Like, because that was like the culminating thing over the course of a few days. He was just blasting folks on Twitter and losing his mind. He posted Randall Lane from Forbes, the editor over at Forbes, posted his personal information on Twitter, put his phone number up there.
Yeah.
It was like, yo, you want to contact a racist, here's his number. Right. I'm like, what? So Twitter shut him down for that.
Yeah, temporarily.
for 12 hours. They put him on timeout.
Yeah. Not before that, though. You know. You don't want your Grammy, Kanye. You know, that's all you had to say. Long ass flush.
Right? That was after you had nachos with the extra beans. Have the beef burrito with extra cheese from Taco Bell, please.
Yeah, keep it coming. Yeah. I didn't get it. I didn't get into it with a friend of mine, comedian friend of mine in Chicago, posted up something to the effect of, why don't we want Kanye in office again now? And he was serious. I was like, cause he need to go sit down, take his medicine, and you know, are you serious? We're not gonna trade one crazy dude for another. And he said, I'd rather have Kanye than Joe. I'm like, really? Well, good luck with that.
He was serious? You sure he wasn't trolling you, bro?
He was. I didn't further engage. I was like, well, good luck with that. I left it alone. I got time to crazy people.
So,
and on a side note, driving through my neighborhood here in Jersey, my wife and I saw, you know, the lawn stickers, the lawn flyers or whatever. Mm-hmm. One said Trump 2020, and then one right next to it in the same yard said Kanye for president.
All right. Either somebody's bipolar or there's dissent in that household.
Right. Or, yeah, that's yeah.
So to answer his question, I know you didn't want to answer his question, but I'll answer his question. One of the biggest issues that people have with Trump is that he exhibits behavior that is not befitting of a president.
Correct.
Peeing on your Grammy on social media is behavior not befitting of a president.
How about walking up and snatching the microphone and an award from the recipient of that award is not befitting of a decent human being, let alone president. Let's just go back that far.
He made her famous, though. I mean, she was popping, and then after that, her career exploded.
She benefited, absolutely, but it was a jerk moment, or as President Obama called him, he's a jackass. I may quote Obama, he's a jackass.
But now, in the midst of all of this, like, why is he peeing on his Grammy? Why is he losing his mind? So, kind of.
To interrupt you, now he has some valid points in some of the things that he's saying.
Yes.
Don't get it wrong. He has some valid points in black ownership and, you know, the contracts not being fair. He has some valid points. But pissing on your Grammy, dude. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, just to catch everybody up, if you haven't seen this story, he's been kind of on a tear about how contracts and business situations aren't fair to black people. And that's just me kind of truncating the idea. And he likens working for a record label in the NBA to modern day slavery, which I look at that and I go, okay. I mean, right? Like, I'm not going to argue with you too much on that.
In sports, they're called owners.
Yes. But
thank you.
As someone who operates in business, who has run businesses and done that kind of thing, they're not hiding the relationship you're about to sign up for with you. So you go into that knowing what it is. Then you become a billionaire or almost a billionaire, multimillionaire, and now you're mad. Okay, well, you could have owned your own masters and done everything on your own, and you probably wouldn't have reached that millionaire status. So I get it, but there is some give and take in that relationship.
Absolutely.
You just signed a bum deal because they taking more than you getting. And that's usually how that works, right? They have more risk. They putting up more to build you or whatever. So I mean, I get it, but at the same time, it's like, bro, your plight does not equal the plight of everybody else.
Yeah, or actual slavery. No, it's, slaves didn't have, they never had an opportunity to level up, ever.
Or a choice to be in the situation.
Right. So it's, it's, I don't buy it.
God bless them.
Babies and fools, right? Shout out to Robin Givens. Like, okay, she's still fine. Let's just be clear about that. I've always had a little something for Robin Givens. I go back to Head of the Class, back when she was on that. Remember that?
I do.
Yeah, she was.
I always felt like she was a little funny looking.
Little funny looking?
Yeah. And I was the only one in my crew. Like, all my boys was like, Robin Givens is fine. And I'm like, she a little funny looking to me.
Funny looking? How so? Are you? What are you pointing to?
Her face.
Okay. She has very defined facial features. Very defined bone structure in her face. Like, I think she actually could have been like a model if she had chosen to be. I don't know if she was before. But
I don't know.
I think she's a handsome looking woman.
That's a real pretty fella.
Yeah, right. But not for nothing. So so there's you understand there's a movie about Mike Tyson's life that Jamie Foxx is in.
Yes.
Jamie Foxx,
which has been in the works for a very long time.
Yeah. Jamie's portraying Mike Tyson. I saw some pictures of him getting fit and looks, I saw some side-by-side pictures of Mike Tyson and Jamie Foxx. And Jamie, yeah, he did it. He's doing it. But she clearly she doesn't want to be portrayed in that film at all, and has sent a cease and desist to all parties involved, saying not to portray her in a negative light. Well,
I mean, did she do some negative shit? Right? Like, how do you send a cease and desist and tell a person not to tell the story of their life just because you were in it?
Right.
How do you stop that? Like, legally, I don't know how they stop that.
I don't know if that she can. You know what I mean? And it's not slander, especially if it's fiction, or maybe they'll change the names. But you'll still know it's. They change it to Robin Sivens or some shit like that. We know who they talking about. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. The letter reportedly said
she should just not say anything. She should just let it happen and just be quiet.
Quote from the letter. They demand that Mr. Mike Tyson cease and desist from further defaming Ms. Givens, and to put those producing, writing, and or directing the proposed Tyson biopic and those producing Mr. Tyson's podcast on notice that they are to refrain from portraying Ms. Givens in a false, negative, and defamatory light. Again.
Besides if it's false or negative.
Right. It's Tyson's word against Givens.
It's even deeper than that. It's Tyson's remembrance of their relationship versus her remembrance of their relationship. Neither one of them are going to be accurate, but it's just how they remember it.
Yeah. I got to see the Mike Tyson one-man show when he was doing that.
Was it good?
It was excellent.
Okay.
It was excellent. I enjoyed it very much. And then they did the film. They actually filmed it. But I enjoyed the the live version, seeing Tyson, tell his story. He basically did stand up with images and graphics going up behind him, and he was excellent. Tyson has a great comedic timing. He's already a very entertaining performer and engaged performer.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And some of the stories he told it's like, wow. It was like things behind the scenes of behind the scenes. So he told a story about, which actor was it? Was it Brad Pitt or somebody that he caught at the that he caught at the house? He allegedly caught at the house with Robin. An actor of some. I may be getting the name wrong, so forgive me. I may be wrong, but there's an actor of that stature that was allegedly caught at their house while they were separated, though. And
it was indeed Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt, there we go.
And she categorically denies that she ever had an affair with Brad Pitt.
Right. And so, but yeah, Tyson was like, yeah, I caught him at the house. He was scared, this, whatever. I'm messing up the story. You have to see it. Go back and see.
But why would you go to Mike Tyson's house to sleep with his wife?
I think if I remember
crazy.
If I remember correctly, the story that he told, they were in the middle of separating. They weren't quite divorced as of yet. Or maybe
Who would go to Mike Tyson's house to sleep with his ex-wife, his ex-girlfriend from 10 years ago that he might still like? Like, who would cross Mike Tyson is what I'm saying.
His side piece that is a side piece and may pop up at any point. Yeah, no, I don't want none of that.
As soon as she said, hey, meet me at the house, I'd have been like, nah, I'm good.
What house you talking about? I ain't coming there. We could do a drive-by. Come hop in this car. Keep it pushing.
And I'll slow it down to 5 miles an hour. You better run and jump in, bitch. I ain't stopping.
A rolling stop. Just get your legs moving. Get your legs moving. Get your legs moving. Okay, go.
Tuck and roll.
Tuck and roll, lady. Yeah, no, yeah. Speaking of Mike Tyson, I'm hearing that Roy Jones Jr. is having second thoughts, or at least has said that he thinks agreeing to fight Mike Tyson might have been a mistake. You just figured it out now?
Tyson was on the Joe Rogan podcast. I think it was about a week ago. And he was talking about getting in the shape for this fight and how the idea to fight materialized and everything. And he was very candid. He was saying how he's training really, really hard. But, before he trained hard, it'd take him, a little while to recoup. He's like, man, at my age now, I go to, for a quick little video, you'll see me hitting the bag real hard and going real hard. And then I'm in bed for a week.
Okay, so it's not just me. Okay. I feel so much better now. I feel so much better now. If Mike Tyson's going through that, this shit.
Yeah, man.
My little workout on them battle ropes, boy. I think that's how I tore up my elbow. It still hurt. It still hurt now. I think I tore my elbow up on the battle ropes. And
I started doing it's that constant motion.
Yeah.
And I learned that the hard way. I started doing a push-up challenge. This was last year. And it was 10 push-ups for every hour I was awake. So once an hour, I drop and do 10 push-ups. And I did that like every other day. After about 2 weeks of that, man, my shoulders were on fire because it was that constant repetition, that constant back and forth motion, and my old body just can't take it. But look, my arms, my arms were looking good. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I'm back on my bike now. I bought the newly 4-year-old. He's now 4. I bought Tahir a bike we bought Tahir a bike for his birthday. And training wheels and all, he's getting the hang of, pedaling. So I went, I think that I had just bought a bike over the summer, and the tires went flat on me. I didn't realize it was my fault because I didn't realize there's a knob on the like a pin in the pin of the wheel that you have to tighten up and then put the cap on. So the tires went flat. I figured that out and started riding around. We went to a park, started riding around. That's a great workout. Like just that's Jersey is great for that if you can handle going up all the different inclines and shit. And I'm not in shape for that yet. At one point in my life, I was able to ride across the Williamsburg Bridge, the Williamsburg and the Manhattan Bridge. I did the Williamsburg and I did the Brooklyn Bridge. There we go. And it was a struggle initially because that incline going up the bridge is no joke. Once you get over the hill, then you're good, and it's a great ride going down. But I wasn't able to, in the beginning, back in the day when I first started riding, I have to stop and get off and walk it because it felt like it was like this straight up and down. But after continuous, I kept doing it after weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and I was able to ride nonstop up, down, and be good. Of course, by the time I got home, I have to throw all of my clothes away because they was sweated to hell. Like there's no recovering a super soaked shirt from sweat like that. Let's throw the shit away. Let's get some new t-shirts.
I'm thinking about getting a bike. I really am.
I say that to say I think I can, if I keep up with it, because the weather's changing now. It's changed damn near overnight. To put a hoodie on and get out, and ride for a couple of hours and back around. It's a great workout. You work. I think bike riding, swimming, and boxing are the best types of workouts, full body workouts for you. So,
and great cardio.
Absolutely.
Great cardio.
Yeah.
So last week was an interesting week for divorces.
Okay.
Ray J came out, filed for divorce.
I'm not surprised.
He's been married, 2 years? Something like that? Not long.
2 years, 2 days. I don't know. But they have been going back and forth with it. And then I saw she put him on blast, like he left her and the baby in Vegas or some shit like that. So that happened, like, yeah, they ain't gonna make it.
Like I see the writing on the wall.
Yeah, they ain't gonna make it. He left her and the baby in Vegas, like, get home. I'm out. You can't think a relationship like that is gonna work, man. Like that's where you at with it.
Honestly, that sounds like some shit I would do.
And the baby, y'all get home.
Nah, I wouldn't leave my baby, but I certainly
like that's just no regard for for all y'all. You and that baby. To hell with you, to hell with that baby, the Pampers, the formula. You can have all that shit and ride out from Vegas. Come on.
It's hardcore. It's very hardcore.
So back when that happened,
had a prenup.
Oh yeah, well, good for him. Good for him. I mean, I think his family was suspicious of the girl from the get-go. They really didn't trust her. His mama didn't really like her. I think Brandy really didn't care for it either, but she was trying to, be embracive or whatever. They didn't really like her. They didn't really care for her. And I learned that from watching Love and Hip Hop.
I'm sorry, you said the words, I watch Love and Hip Hop.
Love and Hip Hop LA. I found that one to be more interesting because that was the first one where they had more dudes as the stars of the show. Like Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta and New York or whatever, those mostly centered around the women. LA, not so much.
uh, uh, which one was the one?
Your Voldemort connection is impeding on me. I just said.
Which one was the one with Peter Guns?
New York.
Yeah. I tried. So one of my exes used to watch all of them shows, all of the Real Housewives, hip hop, all that shit.
Mm.
And I said, how bad could it really be? So I sat down and I tried to watch whichever one Peter Guns was on, Love and Hip Hop New York.
Yeah.
Dude, I didn't make it 5 minutes. I was like, nope. Not watching this. It's so dumb. It is so dumb.
My wife trapped me into watch. This is one of them things that, you have to watch some of the things that your wife is going to watch. Some of the things. And that was the one that I was like, okay, I can tolerate Love and Hip Hop. Okay, I can tolerate that one for the most part. If I'm sipping on something or whatever, or doing something, it's on. Occasionally, something would happen that'll get my attention and get me to look up at the screen and go, "Oh wow, that's funny." You know what I'm saying? Oh, that's wild. But I haven't watched any of them more recently. I haven't watched any of them recently. I go back to like the earlier episodes of Atlanta. And I remember when it was announced that Rashida and Kurt Frost was going to be on it. I'm cool with them. I hit Kurt up like, yo, congratulations. And I think my text to him was something along the like, yo, congratulations, be careful. I hear they do some crazy with the editing. Because I had talked with some of the other cast members from, previous seasons from New York and whatever the case. And they all said the same thing. Yo, they edit what they want, basically. And he was like, yeah, we good. And then initially, they were the boring couple on the show. They were the boring couple, which was fine. But, if you're boring, you won't be on there long. Yeah.
I haven't talked to Kurt or Rashida since 96.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they good. I think they just, if they're not shooting right now, they just shot a season this year. I every once in a while, it's like it's not as frequent, but once in a while I'll text them. I see something, I'll shoot them a text. If I just hey, what's up, dude? Just reaching out to say what's up, and keep it. And there was something that was on. They were trying to figure out him and Rashida's age, and so they had somehow some online trolls had tried to liken Kurt to R. Kelly, like he was dating Rashida when she was 15 or some shit like that. And it was like, no.
That's horrible.
Yeah, and he was like, and he came out and he responded to that because he's like, usually I don't respond to this type of nonsense, but it's necessary to have to say this is false. This is not true. I mean, this is stupid. Why are y'all trying to figure out our age? You should be trying to figure out what's happening with your stimulus package.
Now she had they had a couple records back in the day, the Capers. It was with the Capers. And I hope I'm not butchering this history. Please correct me in the comments, Kurt Rashida, if I got this wrong, jump in and say something. But I think that group was the Cartoon Capers before. And that was back when Jermaine was still getting his foothold, when LaFace was getting a foothold. It was them. It was, I think it was a crew called No U-Turn. And then that crew that Lisa signed. Oh, God. Kareem was in the group and some other people. I can't think of their names right now. But it was a rap group.
Okay.
She had got them signed. They released one single and it didn't really pop off. And they kind of went their own way. But
I'm gonna tell you the song, one of the songs that Rashida did solo that I really like. And it ended up in a movie. Oh, it can't. That's not gonna work. Doggone it! This is why technology. Hold on, you see here. Please stand by. Put the sound through and turn the speaker. Okay. Boom. Let's try it again. It's a joint called Bubblegum. And it ended up in Mall Cop.
The type of girl you wanna chew all of my bubble gum. The type of girl you wanna chew all of my bubble gum. The type of girl you wanna take to your mama house. Take to your mama house.
Yeah, that's all I'll play because we'll get flagged.
Hey, look, if it goes up on YouTube, we get flagged immediately. Well, YouTube don't play.
Right. But yeah, that's all ended up in Mall Cop as as his ringtone on the phone. The scene was hilarious. If you see Mall Cop, you know what I'm talking about. But absolutely. She had a couple of joints. That one, of course, the joint she did with Petey Pablo, Vibrate. Yep. That was her song initially. And
Speaking of people from back in the day who did songs, and I know we're a long way from Ray J at this point. I saw a video today from a new song from Professor Griff and Soleil.
Oh wow! Now, I remind you, I told you that Soleil is married to Professor Griff.
No, I didn't know that. You did tell me that though. I'm getting old. I forget stuff.
Yeah, they got.
Yeah, they put out a record, and it's old Bomb Squad style production.
Okay.
It's Chuck's style of rap, but bumped up a little bit.
Okay.
Soleil still got bars. She still got bars, bro. I was listening to it. I was like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
If I can find it, and at least I can say the name of it, so people can go check it out. And then I'll link to it in the description.
I had never heard Professor Griff rap. I know he did a project, so he had did a solo project after he left PE, but I don't recall hearing any. I don't recall hearing it. I dare say I can't remember wanting to hear it either.
I think I had it, and then like somebody jacked me, and I lost all of my stuff. So I think I had it, and now I don't. Professor,
right? Because he was on. He did a deal with Luke Records, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know that.
It popped up. I didn't even search it. I was looking at something else, and it popped up. And I was like, oh, snap, a new record. And I listened to it, and now I cannot find it. But I'll find it. I'll link to it below. I mean, if you dig old school, it's that the video has, it's conscious and cultural and, everything you would expect from Griff. And then he also shows off some of his martial arts skills in the video, which is pretty cool. I was looking at him with he's doing some sword techniques, and he's got a Shaolin Chinese martial arts style sword. And I was looking at him. I was like, I would not fuck with that dude. Would not fuck with that dude.
Nah, I have to do some Indiana Jones shit.
Well, he can do that too. Because in the same video, he's got guns.
Oh, man. Okay.
Yeah, that dude's no joke. But so, back on divorces. Cardi B.
Yeah.
Wasn't it just a couple of weeks ago she was bragging on a marriage, and now it's like, all right, I want out.
I remember her bragging. I remember her, maybe some months ago, early in the year, showing off their new house. They had bought a new house together. And it's, crazy. I think it's down there in Atlanta somewhere. Like, there's some ill mansion. I mean, it's a beautiful house. I think what I read was that allegedly her husband never stopped cheating on her. Like he never stopped. It was just ongoing, allegedly. And so, I mean, I think Cardi B got to the point where it sounds like it just got to the point where it was like, all right, enough is enough.
Right.
This ain't what you want to do. So, and it was some sort of amicable split. She's not fighting them for like sole custody. And then she's like, no, we can do split custody. And, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So,
and she's asking for an equitable division of all marital assets, which I think that's fair. Right?
Yeah. And once she got her own, so she's not really, she ain't out here hurting.
Oh no. It says she's seeking primary physical custody of their kid.
She changed that up.
Oh, she did? She switched it up?
Yeah. How she explained it, and what I read was that her lawyer did that. That wasn't what she wanted to do. And she had that changed for, split custody and da, 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 da. So she's like, nah, I ain't trying. And she's not bad mouthing them or whatever. She's like, it didn't work. It didn't work.
Look, I hate her music, but as a person, she's starting to grow on me. And I feel horrible saying that. I feel like I need a shower. But she's starting to grow on me.
Yeah, I haven't gotten a chance to meet her yet, right? But from all that I've seen and heard about her from other folks that I do know that have been around her, she's, very down to earth. Very much. She's still that hood chick. She's still that, chick from the Bronx. Deep inside, she's still grounded in that. You know what I mean? So this Hollywood stuff ain't really taking her out. She's like, hey, if it ain't work, it ain't work. She ain't gonna be mad about it. I got my own. You just go ahead, keep doing you, dude.
Well, that chick from the Bronx let it fly against Candice Owens. They've been going at it.
Yeah. I you know what she hasn't done lately? She hasn't threatened physical violence to anyone. She did that. What was the I don't even care to remember her name, but there was this young white chick that was getting a lot of press. And then I think she ended up getting somewhere close to like Fox. Well, she got fired from the show that she was on. And well, in any case, I don't care to say her name.
Tommy Lahren, that chick who went out and was like, all men are trash, that chick.
Yeah, and then Black Lives, she constantly refers to it as Black Lives Matter more. She, on purpose says that. Back when that chick challenged Cardi, Cardi told her, she's like, bitch, I'll dog walk you.
That's hard.
I'll dog walk your ass. Like, and the chick, she didn't, Tommy Larynx didn't really know what it meant, but she understood what she meant. she understood what she meant when she said that and backed up. Like, hey, look, we're doing all this dog walking.
You know what ass women sound like. I don't care what colorful terms you put it in. You know when somebody telling you they gonna whoop your ass.
In any language. They can say it in Spanish, all right, we good. Yeah, it's either we good or what we gonna do. Like, she recognized danger, Will Robinson, danger. But yeah, she just, I don't think she didn't threaten Candice Owens.
No, she didn't. And I didn't watch all of those videos because, God, they both were just talking so much. But I watched, I think, her second one or first one, and then I watched Candice Owens' response. Cardi, all right, if she's gonna swim in that pool, I think she needs to brush up a little bit. especially swimming in that pool and picking a fight with somebody like Candice Owens. You can hate Candice Owens' politics, but she is sharp as a knife.
Yeah.
So Cardi was very emotional, and that's really kind of what it was. Okay. Candice Owens was very informed, right? And she took very intelligent little jabs at Cardi B in her response. I would love to see the two talk. I would love to see the two sit down and have a civil conversation. That's because I think Cardi B would learn something from Candice Owens. And it may not be, hey, I learned that you're right and I'm coming over to your side. It very well may be, I need to do a little bit more investigation and thinking about why I am standing on the hill that I'm standing on. And that can only make her position stronger, right? If you put a little time into it, but yeah. And I'll link to that below also so you can see those videos.
Yeah, if they actually sat someplace and talked, I don't see that working out very well. Because that Bronx chick is still there. It's still in there. And then before long, for Cardi go, I'm ran out of words. Out of words.
Happened to civil discourse.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
I've learned that's the sound you make when you check out.
Yeah, because sometimes what I've found is that civil discourse only works when someone is interested in hearing what you have to say.
Right.
And that's on both and on either side. If I don't care nothing about what you're talking about, it don't make no sense for me sitting and engaging, right? And vice versa, right? So if I'm, if I approach a conversation to try to, just to exchange ideas, and all you saying is you wrong because you this and you this and the insults and all that, it's no longer civil discourse. That's fighting words. Like, where we going from there? Like, what's the point? So, yeah, and that's another reason why I used to go back and forth with people on social media about it. I stopped. It's like, whatever. Say what you want. I mean, let me talk to the people that understand what I'm talking about. Let's just get to the polls and get this idiot out of here.
Trump is the bad president.
And you know this by now. So.
No, I'm with you. I think there's nothing to be gained from dialoguing with fools. God, it's a saying. Wise men learn more from fools than fools from wise men.
Yeah.
God, it took me a minute to remember that one. I used to spew that one all the time. But so no, look, there's nothing to be gained from that type of dialogue, and I don't have it with people I identify very quickly that they just want to be right or they just want to argue.
Right.
And that's when I just go, okay, I mean, do it your way and I hope it works out for you. And that's all I can tell you.
Yeah.
But I do think it's something to be gained from having reasonable conversation with a reasonable person who disagrees with you.
Right. And I've
learned some shit from talking to people, and I've taught some shit to people from talking to people. So,
and sometimes it doesn't happen in that conversation. If I can bring up, when in an earlier episode, I spoke about a friend of mine in Philly. What up, Travis? Who he and I had, and he liked the fact that I called him out. But he and I had, we had a disagreement about a very specific incident that happened in Philly with two brothers that were in a Starbucks and had gotten arrested for being. His thought pattern was, though, they had to have done something. And I'm like, no, this type of stuff happens. The police are, that's they didn't do anything. They were there, and it took a year before he came back around, and like he came to me like, dude, I was so wrong. I am so sorry. You know what I mean? I'm watching the police do stuff to people that had not, like, though, this is so wrong. F them, So, we, back when we first had that convo, I ended it like, all right, well, we have to agree to disagree, and we're friends. So, and so it wasn't what he was interested in hearing what I had to say, but he disagreed with me, and I knew that I was right. So, from experience, you know what I mean? And so I knew to go, all right, well, either you'll see or you won't. And it just turns out that it dawned on him, and then the first person he thought about was me, and he called me, and he hit me up. So
you planted a seed.
Right. Another friend of mine, I won't say her name, but she sent me an email, because I randomly, like, I've gotten better with just like shooting a text message out and not even really want anything. Just say, hey, what's up? Hope all is well. Da 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 da. How you doing? Da da da. And that, she emailed me the next day. We had went back and forth for a second, and she emailed me the next day. And if I can find it, I can read the email. But her son, this is a friend of mine that just happens to be Caucasian, had gotten to a what's the word? Wow,
altercation?
What? No, not really altercation, but a
vehement disagreement.
There we go. With a schoolmate. Her son is a teenager, and the kid, his friend or whatever, was taking the stance that hey, let me just read it. Let me just find it and read it, because I'm not doing this very well right now. What email did you send it from, lady? That's not it. No. Where is it? Oh, that's why. Pardon the silence, people.
It'll be in the video version, but I'm dollars to donut to be cut out of the audio version.
Can we add the technical difficulties music?
Sure.
Please stand by. It was about, I guess why I can't find it, because it was about a week ago. In any case, it was the dialogue. The kid had some. I have to find it. This is not going to. This won't be anywhere near as effective if I don't find the note that she sent me. And no, not that. That's work stuff.
While you hunt for it,
right?
Did you hear about Niecy Nash?
No, what happened?
So she was married and got divorced,
mm-hmm.
and then she remarried. She filed for divorce from her husband Jay Tucker
mm-hmm.
back in December, and they finalized their divorce in March. And she is now remarried to, I'm looking for her partner's name. They don't have the name on here. But she basically remarried a woman.
Right.
Jessica Betts is her name. Singer Jessica Betts. This came as a surprise to everyone because no one knew Niecy Nash was into women.
Yeah. And I saw that she kind of downplayed it, like, so I'm dating a woman now. And
I was like, what happened?
Maybe she was always into women, and that's why it didn't work out with her husband. Say again?
I've known several women that way who were either in long-term relationships or married, and after being in those relationships for a certain number of years, they came out and said, hey, look, I'm into women. I've always been to women. Some of them knew that they were into women and didn't disclose it. And some of them had a feeling, but never really acknowledged it. And once they gave themselves room to acknowledge it, they were like, fuck, I'm into women. That kind of blew my mind.
But no one will ever like go at her crazy about it because women can do that. They go to the bathroom together. That's you know what I mean? It's always like, oh, that's some girl, that's some, all right, fine. Okay. In fact,
I think women cross boundaries in their relationships with their girlfriends that dudes would never ever cross.
And if it'd be like, what in the word? That's what you word? Now popular culture would have you supposed to, hey, it's all good. It shouldn't matter. And it shouldn't. But to dudes, nah.
Nah, bruh.
What you talking about? If your pants is too tight, we look at each other crazy. Dude, why? What you doing here?
You got a bad case. I'm a star, balls.
Right. Give us a free. So,
So one of my exes, just on the point of relationship boundaries, and it used to blow my mind. Mm-hmm. She used to sleep in the bed with her girlfriends. Her and her girlfriends would kiss each other in the mouth.
Oh.
And she had gone as far as to wear some of her girlfriend's undergarments. And I was like, baby,
that's just nasty, though.
That last one was just nasty, and I called her on that one. But I was like, baby, you can just tell me, are you gay? Because all that sound like y'all in a relationship. Right. Y'all doing the same thing we doing, minus the sharing the underwear part.
Yeah, that's. I found
but she said, "Oh, we're not, blah blah blah." But
no, we just okay, all right,
yeah, all right.
That's the kind of thing. If y'all all together in the room, you just watch and pay attention, and then if you say the right thing at the right time, you have everybody sipping on something or whatever, you might walk away with a three-way.
Out of all of her friends, I can say this now. There were only 2 of them. And I mean, she had a big squad too. It was like 13 of them in the squad. It was only 2 of them that I would even remotely entertain that. And one of the 2, it was me entertaining it was just so unhealthy because the girl had a horrible attitude and she was just bitchy, and it was something about it that just turned me on. It's like,
oh, okay.
This is an unhealthy thing happening right now, so I'm going to pretend like it's not happening.
Okay.
But no, that her people were, God bless them. They were decent human beings, but when it came to relationships and with men and that kind of thing, they had no clue. I was like, I can help you. Sit down on that couch. I can teach you some things, get your life right. But no, y'all want to do it on your own, and a bunch of women talking about what men are. Okay. Let me know how that works.
Right. Okay. Back to my previous point. Sorry, people. It takes me a minute to find stuff on my computer. I need a new computer, but we'll talk about that another time.
You got to reset the story now.
Reset the story. Okay. So, I have a friend of mine that I had reached out to just to say hi, shot a text, hey, hope all is well. My friend happens to be Caucasian. And we exchanged a little back and forth. It wasn't nothing serious. I didn't want anything. I really just wanted to say hi. Somebody that's I'm good friends with. And the next day, she shot me an email about a situation that her son had encountered, and I'll read the email here. That's without saying any names. So my son comes into the living room tonight. Mom, I totally can't believe it. One of my friends is totally racist. I asked who? What brought this on? Apparently, the boys were arguing about what black people face with respect to police. His friend, among other things, thinks C was justified. He goes, Mom, who was that guy in Houston, a.k.a. Nicholas Chavez? He had heard her R and me discussing his case during the news, I explained. He asked me to send him the link. So I do. He tells me his pal says, blacks, quote, blacks get arrested so much because they commit 51% of the crimes, unquote. I give him not only several facts to answer that nonsense with, I show him the website mappingpoliceviolence.org, so he has more actual facts about the injustice in the system to respond with. As I understand it, the kid stopped answering. I don't know if he said more after N went to bed, but I have to tell you, I was just shocked. I was pleasantly shocked that some of the reality check about the world has stuck. Even more that my kid gets it. I don't think I've ever been so proud of anyone that would understand the feels that comes from seeing your teaching put into action when they actually appear to ignore you when I say, I thought of you. And she says, miss your face, love you and your wife, XXO. And I responded, I said, well, that's pretty, I'm glad your son is paying attention. You know what I mean? But there's another kid his age that thinks like old racist white people. Where's he getting that from?
Old racist white people.
Oh.
And TV and popular culture that paints African-American males as inherently dangerous because of our existence, as aggressive, less than human, all of those things that were portrayed. Even if you look back at, one of my favorite shows as a kid, the A-Team.
Mm-hmm.
The black character was a big, dumb brute brought in to break things and beat things. And all of the other characters were of some level of intelligence and skill, right?
Right.
And that's programming that is going to take time to get away from.
Yeah. I was watching, bringing it back to television. I recently got Apple TV Plus.
Okay.
And the NBC app. So NBC has all of their old shows that came out, and I was like, oh wow, I forgot this is like the Hulk and Quantum Leap and all these different shows are on NBC. One of my favorite shows when I was a kid was a show called Amazing Stories.
I remember it.
Apple TV Plus has revamped that. It's a whole all new episodes of Amazing Stories. If you're not familiar with Amazing Stories, it was kind of like the Twilight Zone, and it was like weird stories, people going back in time, different things happening. And so, in any case, there was a story. It was the first episodes of each, the old one from the 80s and the new one now have a similar, type of story. The first one, back in the 80s, it was about the Alamo. There was this kid that was at the Alamo. Of course, if you know the story of the Alamo, everybody died. And so he's given a note to go to this certain general. And this kid is in real wartime. In real wartime is seeing tourists walk through the Alamo. No one else sees it. It's like people walking through. He's yelling, get out. What are you doing? Get out. Get away. Did you see those people? What are you talking about, kid? Kid, take this note, give it to the general. And he somehow gets snatched out of the Alamo into real-time Texas. and this is a white kid walking around with a bayonet, steals a horse. That itself says white privilege because he's walking around with a shotgun and stole a police horse. There's not even talk about that. But everywhere he went throughout Texas, there was no brown faces. And I said to my wife, I was like, if you watch TV in the 80s, you would think that black folks didn't exist.
Yep.
Right? Fast forward, same show, Amazing Stories, a new episode. There's a white gentleman, brothers. They're fixing some house, and somehow he gets thrown back into time, 100 years from 2019 to 1919, and he ends up back in that time and encounters this woman, and he takes her to this speakeasy. And then you saw there's black people there. So there's been some, that it helped. It was,
right.
improved. But looking back on TV back then versus now, we were very much ignored, and how we were portrayed was, not very desirable, which is why the rest of the world gets this notion that we're sex-crazed idiots.
Poor fathers, alcoholics, drug addicts. I think every time I see somebody say, "Oh, he's a good dad for being in the home," or "We need more fathers in the home." Like, no, we need to stop focusing on the fathers that aren't, right? There's a whole lot of good dads out there and fathers in the home and all of that. And I just hate that we play into that stereotype of shiftless black man. It bugs me. Just gets under my skin.
Yeah. But
speaking of reboots and 80s television, I'm trying to find it. I know I got it here somewhere. Kerry Washington.
Yeah.
Kerry Washington got her first Emmy.
Right. I saw that.
Which is just too late. She should have had more. She is freaking awesome. But she got an Emmy for her involvement with the live in front of a studio audience thing she did. It was a live redo of All in the Family and Good Times.
Right.
I think she was like executive producer of that, or a producer on it, or something like that.
She was a producer of some sort on it. I don't recall seeing her face on the show, if I remember correctly. I know Jamie Foxx was a part of it on screen. Who else? Well,
Jamie Foxx, Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
Marissa Tomei. Because Woody Harrelson played Archie, Marissa Tomei played Eve, Jamie Foxx played
George Jefferson.
George. Who played his? She played his wife. She played Wheezy, didn't she?
No, did she?
We're about to find out. They should come up with this thing where you can type in questions in it.
You mean like Google? That's gonna be a recurring joke for me.
Yeah.
Like Google? What it's called?
Let's see. Cast.
Oh shit!
All right, Woody Harrelson is Archie Bunker. What'd you break?
I ain't break nothing. I was reaching for. God dog it! I go to fix one thing and fuck up the next one. Okay.
Sounds like every relationship I've ever been in.
Right now, because my headphones unplugged. There we go. And I was reaching for the charger. Because I didn't bring a
charger. Yeah. She did not play Wheezy.
No, that was
Wanda Sykes. Kerry Washington played Helen.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. She. Okay. All right.
I didn't see the Good Times one. I saw the All in the Family and I saw the Jeffersons.
The Good Times was cool. I like the fact that they had what's the brother that played James Evans?
Andre Braugher.
No, the original actor.
The original actor.
I like that they had John Amos. Yeah, I like that they had him on the show. Not as his original character. He played another character, but it was cool to see him on there. That was cool. It was a cool episode. It's about what I liked about those reboots is that they didn't change the script at all.
No.
They didn't change. They ripped it. It was just literally, here you go. And you would have thought they wrote it in present day. I mean, talking about politics and social stuff, like it was so timely.
But when I watched it, I couldn't help but to think they would not put this on TV today, right? It's like some of the language, some of the references, some of the jokes. Like Archie Bunker as a character is a character that could not exist on TV today. Could not.
Nah, probably not. He thinks we have to be too politically correct today.
His character was a racist. Like the whole shtick of that show was that he was a racist and everybody else around him was trying to get him to not be a racist.
But
and
that's
he
why,
just doubled down on it.
But that's why it worked. Because he was surrounded, he was engulfed in people that were not like him. You know?
I think today's audience, God, they're so delicate that even with that context, they would still be too triggered to either enjoy the show, the humor, or get the message.
I think, he was, the Archie Bunker character. And some could say that George Jefferson was the exact same character, just black.
Yes, he was a goddamn racist too. He used hockey at least 100 times in every episode. Like we couldn't do that now. Couldn't do it now.
No. It's not. I don't think it's as offensive as the N-word. If Archie Bunker said the N-word, then that would definitely be like, what are you doing?
There's less history with it, so I can agree to that. And if my reading from years ago serves me correctly, that is not a term created by black people to denigrate white people. I think it was a term created by white people to denigrate poor white people.
Really?
I could be wrong about that. Yes. I freely admit I could be wrong about that, but it was something I read in a book many, many, many years ago. It may have been either Honky or Cracker or Peckerwood. It was one of them that we didn't make that shit up. Somebody else made that shit up, or they made it up about themselves and we adopted it.
Okay.
Doesn't make it better. Shouldn't use it. Just, the history of the word.
I'm sorry. I think Peckerwood is funny. I don't even sound offensive. It just sounds funny. Like Peckerwood, really? That's offensive. I can see why you would be offended if someone called you Peckerwood, and it's, I don't think I can say it with a straight face. I'm a face Peckerwood. I just bust out laughing right away. It doesn't ring the same way. It doesn't ring. So
another recurring thing on this show. Ooh, black people gonna be mad at me for this.
Oh God. Okay. Where we at?
I feel the same way about Porch Monkey. I can't be mad at it. It's just funny.
Oh, hell no.
When I hear it, I just laugh. Like, I know I'm being insulted. No one has ever called me that. But if somebody did, I know I would be being insulted and I would not engage with that person. But it sounds funny. It's just funny.
Well, since we going there, I told you about a song, right?
Oh, boy.
So, it's not funny, but it is. This is a real song. I can't believe that they reposted it. Like I see it's provided to YouTube by the record label, so it's out there. So this is a song from minstrel shows. I bring it up because some episodes ago we talked about our friend Terry Crews, a friend in my head.
Back in the news, by the way. We'll get to that.
Yeah. He tried to change the meaning of coon. And I'm like, dude, you can't really do that. It has so much more history than what you're trying to do. I'll mute it for right now until I get to where, because it'll get struck off our show if I play too much of it. But it's a song called "Oh You Coon" from the minstrel shows. It's not funny, but kind of, sort of.
You certainly broke the heart of many mighty soon.
Oh boy.
Just let me be your doodle dandy. Oh, you cool. Oh, you
All right.
will you let me be your candy coon?
Candy coon?
You're just the sweetest little chocolate drop I ever did see. You certainly are the caramel child with me. Oh, you cool. You fun, babe. You woman June. Make your eyes say goo, goo, doo, doo. Oh, you cool.
Yeah.
So if you walk the streets of this country and you ask yourself, how can people be the way they are? Where do people learn this from? There you go.
Yeah.
Right? It's in song.
Mhm.
And granted, it's not being played on the radio today, but it was programmed in the head of a person who then had children.
Yeah.
And then programmed it in their head and so on and so forth. Jesus, that was brutal.
Yeah. Like, you know, and so even calling Terry Crews that word is, I can understand the sentiment why. I don't think people should. Even though I don't think he's helping himself any by the stuff that he says and does. But
I've said it on the show before. I think we create the environment for him to try to own that term by calling him that term. Which brings us to this week's episode of What Did Terry Do Now?
What did Terry do now?
all right. What'd he do?
My man is back on social media. All right, it says Terry Crews has made another controversial comment on social media. It started when Kanye West asked for solidarity for all men, regardless of race. All right, no problem with that.
Right.
I have the utmost respect for all brothers. We need to link and respect each other. No more dissing each other on labels we don't own. That's
Kanye West.
That's from Kanye West. That's, of all of the insane tweets he sent, that one was fairly sane.
The clock is right. A wrong clock can be right twice a day. So continue.
According to Terry Crews. A fan responded saying that social media was going to call Kanye West the C word, like they've done in the past with Terry Crews, possibly referencing the times Terry has been called a coon. And this is when Terry started. We're good at identifying the moment when shit goes downhill. He goes, "You are not officially black and successful until they do."
Oh, hell no, Terry. Really? Is that what you feel? So you're successful, so they called you a
I'm gonna come back to that. We're gonna put a pin in that. Rick Ross blasted him back in August when they did the versus battle. When he did the versus battle with 2 Chainz, he did a lyric that called Terry Crews a coon. And somebody on Twitter asked him, how do you feel about that when he did that? What did that make you feel? Terry Crews replied, famous.
I think, okay. I'm trying to tread light here. Tread lightly here. Because Terry Crews still big dude.
Minstrel show music.
No, I'm talking about in responding to Mr. Crews here. Because I don't want no smoke there. Okay. No, brother. Once again, no. That's incorrect. That is false. That is not correct. No. Stuff that you are saying is and I'm not saying that it's right that people call you that name there, sir. But you're not helping your cause. No. And they didn't call, did they call Kanye a coon? I call him crazy. I don't think they call him coon. Either case. I don't even know what to say. I'll be honest. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say.
I feel like I'm the Terry Crews whisperer. Here's what I think he was trying to say. You ain't made it until you got haters, right? That's a popular notion that people say and they put out there all the time.
Okay.
I think it's the same sentiment. However, he frames it wrong.
Yeah.
He frames it in a way, and at this point, I think it might be deliberate, but he frames things in a way that's controversial and misunderstood by the community he's trying to talk to. Because I don't think any white people would have an issue with that phrase.
No.
I think it's just black people.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think it may be intentional at this point. And he knows how far to walk that line so he don't mess up his network money.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to say, man. That's wrong.
Brother, if you're saying that with success comes haters and people who disagree with your success, if you are saying that there are some amongst us in our community who still exhibit remnants of the crab in the bucket mentality, I agree with you. But I don't want to put no words in your mouth, and I don't want to speak for you. But I think that's what he's saying. I hope that's what he's saying. But only Terry Crews knows.
Or does he? Or does he? But you know what? I can say, Mr. Crews, I appreciate it. Keep doing your thing, because we're going to keep doing this segment.
All right, everybody, please listen to this segment, because actor and activist Terry Crews facing backlash.
What did Terry do now?
That nigga crazy.
I was editing one of the older shows. So if you're checking us out on YouTube, you've probably noticed that it's like episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, 11, 13, right? What can I tell you? I'm slow at editing. My apologies. But I was in the midst of editing I think it was episode 5, so I can get that up. And we played that nigga crazy drop, I think about 5 times in that show.
I'm being very careful with it, and even then I'll still beep it or flip it out because, I don't want to be too offensive. Offensive, but not too offensive. But I feel sometimes that's necessary.
Unfortunately, you don't know if you're being too offensive until you've been too offensive.
Right. Yeah.
So we're coming close up to an hour and a half. It's a couple of things I feel like we should get to before we check out. One of those is Breonna Taylor.
Okay. We got like 5 on my card over here. So just so. Okay. Yeah.
Well, her family just won a $12 million civil suit.
Yeah.
And what I think is really cool about that, it is not just the money. That what they were asking for was money and reform and change in the police department. And apparently they got that as well. Now, we don't know the details of what that is yet, but I think that's a big step in the right direction.
What and I'm sure many people find odd about that whole thing is that they settled with their family and still haven't arrested anyone for her murder. And I like the fact that the family said, okay, all right, cool, we'll take it. Now go arrest these dudes, please.
Yep.
What are we going to do about that? You know what I mean? That money ain't hushed them up. And it
should. And that makes me very proud. It was something that came out about the ballistics report a week ago. Kentucky's Attorney General says his office has finally received the ballistics report he's been waiting for in the Breonna Taylor case, but he says it's not conclusive and it seemed there's still no end in sight.
Yeah, they're going to drag this out. They're going to drag it out.
I think they might be trying to save face at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, not
Just
gonna.
go ahead and hold not just the officers, because in these kinds of cases, I think the officers should be held accountable, but I think the system should also be held accountable, right? Who thought it was a good idea to issue the no-knock warrant? Who thought it was a good idea to have that policy?
Now, since then, they, almost immediately they revoked doing, they went back on doing no-knock warrants. That is no longer a thing in Texas, right? Is it, and where?
Kentucky? I think. I'm choking to death.
I see. That's no longer a thing. So, okay, so you realize that the no-knock warrant was a problem, but you still didn't deal with the people that, how they responded. And it was weird that the boyfriend, there's so many different things with this case that's just awkward, clearly awkward. I saw a story, and I'll say this quickly, a story about her ex-boyfriend who was allegedly a drug dealer. They had arrested him because I think that's what the warrant was looking for him. I think I think that if I'm understanding correctly, he was already in custody when they kicked in her door. In any case, they tried to get him to say, a story came out saying that they tried to coerce him to saying that Brianna was in on his drug dealing, and he wouldn't do that. He wouldn't do it. Like, why would I do that? It's not true. And they hadn't been a couple for a while. They weren't together. She had the brother that got arrested at the house with her. That was her boyfriend at the time. Who knows how long it had been? Whatever the case, they weren't an item.
It's all still messy. It's all still super murky. I think we are taking steps in the right direction, especially being how long it took for anything to even start moving. But we're not there yet. No. We are not there yet.
No. Anyway, it's just I get so much anxiety when I see these stories come up. It's just it's not good. I have a therapist that I talk to about these. There's like, it does not. With these things, when you get these pings on alerts, and maybe I need to take the alerts off, but I have to because of what I do for a living. I need to be involved. It's like when I see stories like this, or someone getting shot by the police, on another unarmed brother being shot or killed, or all these different things, and they're coming up. It feels like they're coming up more often. It's just a feeling of just I can't explain. It's just this anxiety I get from it. It does not make me feel good at all. You know what I mean? And yeah, I had my own run-in. Now, there weren't any guns drawn on me this time, but that also has happened to me. Have cops draw guns on me, and I didn't have any type of weapon. I wasn't even the person they were looking for.
Jeez.
All these things, you factor your experience, and when seeing the stuff that happened, it does not feel good. There has to be some. And if I feel that way, I'm sure there's a lot of brothers out there that feel the same way. I'm talking to my, I suggest you do the same, because it's not a good thing to hold in, man.
Yeah, it could be PTSD.
Yeah.
And seeing that shit in news and on TV triggers that feelings from that time.
Mm-hmm. Times.
Right.
Since I was a teenager. You know what I mean? All these, like, a bunch of different, I've had multiple, run-ins, but in any case, we'll save that for another time. And the Brandy story, we didn't get to that. I think we'll have to do that. my Brandy story, we never.
Let's after show it, because we got to run through the birthdays, and then we'll do a shortened after show.
All right, bet. Folks, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. As always, you can follow us on all social medias at Unpopin Show. That's Twitter, that's Instagram, that's Facebook. Also, our website, of course, is unpopin.com. And make sure you find us on YouTube. Hit the subscription, hit the like button, and with the alerts and all that good stuff, and become a part of this Unpoppin community, man. We're going to continue doing this and, just communicate with us. Talk with us.
And on YouTube, leave a comment. Remember, we're trying to get up to 100 subscribers. Once we hit 100, we're going to pull somebody randomly from the comments to get $100. Until next time, folks. Peace.
Peace. Hey, thanks for watching the Unpopular Opinion Show right here on YouTube. Appreciate you watching. If you enjoyed what you watched, be sure to subscribe, like, and hit that notification button.
Yeah, hit it. You haven't hit it yet.
You ain't hit it yet. What do you? Oh, come on,
just hit it. Right. Okay, the like button too. I mean, you got it.
Yes, got it. All right, cool. Thank you. Appreciate you.